Back in today's video, we're going to be recapping a little bit of part one that we had from this DTI Business Funding Master Class. We are joined with the Afghan American Business Alliance. Mr. Soliman Basir is the CEO. Hello, Mr. Soliman. Thank you for allowing us to host this again tonight. Good to have you.
Yeah, I can hear them.
Okay, very good. All right. So in the recap,
One.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
just wanted to say a few words about the African American Business Alliance really quickly. So sure. So African American Business Alliance is an organization, it's a nonprofit that gathers all the Afghans and business owners together. So how one business can help another. So this is a platform that's available to all of you guys. So please tap in, visit the website, and it's a great community. So thank you so much, Sulaiman, for hosting this, and we're excited to be here.
Thank you, Moyo. Thank you so much. I just want to add something. As Omar said, that this organization is a nonprofit organization, so we are supporting and promoting businesses. We're providing them the resources. We're introducing the opportunities. We're facilitating the networking. So we just want to try to bring our community together for a network to share their experience and knowledge, and also to provide them the resources that we have. For more information, you guys can visit our websites. You guys can visit our business directory. I don't know, Homo, can you share the websites here?
Yes, I can share them on a chat. Absolutely.
And I'm so happy that I'm here with you guys. Thank you, Homo.
Sure, my pleasure.
All right, can everybody see my screen okay? We good? All right, let's get it. All right, let's get it. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to recap just a little bit about what we talked about last week. If some of you guys were on the call last week, we'll go ahead and talk about that. So the foundation, everybody should know that the foundation of getting this business funding is going to be dialed in to your personal credit, right? So we want to make sure that we have everything dialed in with your personal credit. And I'm just going to try to go back through these slides and show you guys. Let me see here. Some of the things that we were talking about. We went through a lot of slides. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the foundational stuff, what your credit should look like. So we need to make sure that we have 100% payment history, no lates. If you guys have any lates on your credit reports, we have to get those cleaned up. That can take some time, especially if it's an open account. Some of you guys know, I mean, I've been there. I've had late payments on my credit report. It's taken me some time to get it off, but you got to get that off if you want to make sure you're going to get qualified for some of this funding. Also, we want to make sure we have less than 10% utilization. So you don't want to be carrying a balance of more than 10% on your utilization for your cards. So do not, anytime you're carrying more than 10%, you're going to start getting dinged on your credit score. So we want to use these strategies with business credit and this business funding so that you can make sure you never put yourself in utilization hell. The other one is we want to make sure our average age from our accounts has at least 5+ years on it, right? So you can also do that by adding authorized users to your account. So if you know somebody, a friend, family member that has good credit and has age on their credit cards, you can hop on their credit cards so that you can actually take advantage of getting the age boosted up on your overall credit profile. The second one, or the next one, is going to be hard inquiries. We want to make sure that you're not carrying more than 4 hard inquiries in 12 months. Every 2 years, your hard inquiries will be cleaned up, will be wiped out. So it just falls off after 2 years. That is the statute of limitation for hard inquiries. But once you start getting over 4 hard inquiries on your credit profile, it makes it a little more challenging for some banks to qualify you. There are banks that are more lenient with hard inquiries, like American Express, but then there are other banks like Chase and US Bank, which are going to be a little more strict on that. And then we're also going to be talking about comparable credit, right? And I'm going to go into comparable credit in just a moment. So ideal right now with the climate that we're in with the banks, you need to have a 740 plus credit score. It used to be 680. We kind of went over that before, but you're going to want to make sure you get your credit scores up, right? So some banks will qualify you with 680, right? But we're going to have one of the 3 C's that we talked about last week. You're going to need to either have cash flow or collateral. Some banks will qualify you with a little bit less than a 740, but my goal is to make sure that everybody has the information to get themselves to the 740 range and above, so that you can make sure that that's one box that you have checked off. Congratulations. I know he's not on the call tonight. He's feeling a little sick, but Denzel, he went and he took advantage of capitalizing on the play. He went out and did our sole prop strategy with Navy Federal. That was very amazing. He called me the next day, and basically he went to Navy Federal, got himself the sole prop. They asked him to get a business license. That's not something that I put on the last slide, but some banks will make sure you have a business license. So my advice to him was just to go get a generic business license. And so with his generic business license and his relationship with Navy Federal, he was able to get himself a sole prop business established with Navy Federal. So he's on his way to getting some more funding. So that's what we're talking about with your, just really briefly, guys, that's kind of what your profile is going to need to look like. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the 3 C's. I kind of went over it just briefly. Like I said, if you have good credit, that's going to really help you in getting qualified for some of this funding. Now, like I told you, you want to have like a 740 and you want to have a solid, thick profile. When I say a solid, thick profile is sometimes your credit score is not the only thing that matters. Some people can have a high credit score in the 700s with only having one credit card and some authorized users on their account. And then they can have a 700 credit score. But when an underwriter looks at that, they're going to look and see that there's no meat and potatoes inside of their credit profile. So somebody who has a nice thick profile, like if they've had a car loan, if they've had a mortgage, if they've had loans, other loans, lines of credit or anything like that on their profile, but they have a little bit less of a credit score, their profile and their credit score is going to look more advantageous to the underwriter than what it is going to be for someone who has a thin profile with just a couple of things on their credit profile, right? So just putting that in perspective, the 3 C's of business funding, you're also going to want to make sure you have some kind of collateral. You can use cash can be collateral. Sometimes, like for instance, you can use your own money that will help you. They'll put the lien against your money so that you can actually get credit from that particular bank. And then sometimes after that, that will turn into unsecured. So it'll be secured at first and then it'll be unsecured. Sometimes it can be your 401k. Sometimes it can be any kind of real estate that you have. Those are some other different types of collateral that help you get it. So you can get it, you can get business funding if you just have one of these. You can get business funding if you have 2, but if you have all 3, like also having cash flow from your business, showing your cash flow, your bank statements, that's going to be another method for you being able to get qualified for some of this business funding. I had a gentleman that we're working with call me this week, and he was like, "Hey D, I liked the presentation last week, but I'm still having some challenges with getting some of this funding. Can you let me know what's going on?" And one of the things that was going on with this gentleman is that his inquiries were really high. He has inquiries of like 10 inquiries on TransUnion, right? And if you have too many inquiries and too many open new trade lines, you look too thirsty to the bank and you look a little shaky. So they're not going to be wanting to extend large lines of credit or large loans to you. So you're going to have to make sure you really strategically go after these banks that you're trying to get, right? So the 3 C's of business funding, you're going to want to make sure you have at least one, but trying to get yourself in position to get all 3 is going to be your best bet. And we're starting to get some of these loans that we're going to be talking about. So we're going into Q3. Excuse me as I pass through all this. We're going into Q3, you guys. In Q3, we're going to start talking a little heavy about some of this business funding. Excuse me, let me get to my slide deck. Hold on a second. And Q2, we showed you how you can get up to 250,000. If you guys haven't seen some of the other videos that we posted, you can go into the YouTube channel and check those out. But we're going to start going in a little heavier on the Q3. So the benefits of business credit, some of the benefits you guys need to know is that you can hide your utilization. So if you have business credit cards or you have, if you have credit cards that you need to carry a balance on, if you put them on your business credit, you're gonna be able to hide your utilization. It's not gonna hurt your personal credit. So this is a way, I always call business credit, the way is the big brother of personal credit. It will protect your personal credit. You'll always want to keep your personal credit pristine. So one of the benefits of having business credit is to do that, right? It really keeps everything locked in and makes everything on your personal side does not get affected. So once we get your personal side built up, then we're going to be doing everything all strictly on the business side, excuse me. One of the benefits also is going to be high limit credit cards. So we talked about the high credit card strategies, like doing the reallocation method from Chase. And then I'm also going to do a video showing you guys of all the other banks. There's a lot of different banks that actually you can do this reallocation strategy with, like Citibank and Bank of America. We're going to go through all these different other banks later on in a future video. I'm going to talk to you guys about that. But the reallocation play is one where you have your credit card with Chase. Say you have a $50,000 credit card with your business Chase account, and then you have then you apply to get another business Chase credit card. And what you can do is you can take the one and combine it. You can combine the credit limits all onto one card, giving yourself $100,000 credit limit. So now that you have $100,000 credit limit, other banks, when you go and you have your spend and you're showing your bank statements and they see that, that's going to be more advantageous to you, because the other banks are going to see that, oh, this guy, he has $100,000 credit limit with this card and he has high spending and you're paying it back. And that's going to look really good. So then they're going to want to grant you their card and they're going to give you a high credit limit on their side, right? So that is one of the strategies. I love the reallocation play. If you guys don't know what that is, go back and watch that video so that you can get that. But also know that we're going to be talking about that a little bit further on and going over all the different banks that offer that. The next one is the funding sequence. We went over the funding sequences. Why I like to start with Navy Federal when I start, because if you're just starting out and you're trying to build up your profile, Navy Federal will give you great high limits on your very first card. So you could have like a 680, which we were talking about before. You can have a 680 and a weak profile, but once you get in with Navy Federal, they will grant you 20 and 25,000. I've seen it many, many times where we're getting people 20 and 25,000. So Navy Federal is the first one we like to start with. And then an easy one for a business startup to get is going to be your Chase. And then we also have a really great relationship with US Bank. And so then we go back and we'll hit American Express, and then we'll start hitting some of the regional banks like Key Bank and Truist and some of those other ones that we talked about before. Now, the best bank for high limits right now, I say still the best bank that you're going to be able to get the highest limits right now is going to be Chase. That's why I say keep that relationship with Chase really good. And then the other one is going to be American Express. They're also really good with giving credit limit increases as long as you know how to spend, right? And then the no-doc funding, we went over to no-doc funding, and a lot of the no-doc funding, we're able to do that with banks like Chase. And then you're able to get this no-doc funding when you ask for credit cards and credit limits under 50,000. Right. So a lot of times they're going to give you that. And that's great for people that don't have a lot of documents, like you don't have a lot of bank statements or you don't have W-2s yet because you're new and you're starting out. So Chase and American Express are really good with allowing startup companies to be able to get this no-doc funding. All right. So that's just a little bit of a recap. I know there was much more. Please go back and watch the videos, and then we'll, if you have any questions, let me know. So what banks love to see. I went over this just briefly with my US bank rep earlier in the week, and it was amazing what he was telling me. because I already knew a little bit of this, but I did not know it to this extent, right? So they're looking, when a bank is looking to bring you in, if you're applying, they're looking to see what your highest credit limit is on your cards, because based on that is what they're going to feel comfortable with giving you, right? So if you have a credit card that has $3,000 credit limit, the chances of you getting a very high credit limit on their card is going to be slim. So what we want to do is you want to build up your credit limits every 3 months to every 6 months. You want to be asking for a credit limit increase on one of your cards. Now, how you do that is you want to make sure you're spending on that card. So you're going to want to be making sure that you're spending close to the limit and you're paying it off. You spend close to the limit, you're paying it off. One of the ways you can do that is if you know somebody who is using their debit card, for instance, and they need to be able to pay that debit card off back and forth. If you know that and you can build that relationship with them, you can say, hey, put it on my credit card, because it's going to be advantageous for you because you're going to get the points for one, but then two, they're going to, once they pay you to put it on their credit card and you pay it off, that's going to look really good for yourself, right? So if you don't have that, some of the other methods that you can use is whatever you have that you're spending right now, instead of using your debit card or instead of using a bunch of different cards, focus on one card, spend it, and then make sure you pay it down by the end of the month, and then spend it, make sure you pay it down at the end of the month. After about 3 months, it's either going to trigger a credit limit increase or you can ask for a credit limit increase. Just make sure when you ask for your credit limit increase that you're not getting hit with a hard inquiry. Make sure it's a soft inquiry just to inquire about that. That is one different thing. So also comparable credit, right? This is the other thing he told me, which I was just telling you guys right now. You want to make sure they're going to be looking at your spend. So for instance, one of our clients got denied, right? And he got denied, but then Paul was like, hey, all you have to do, I said, hey, he's spending a ton of money at American Express. I mean, he has like $100,000 credit line at American Express, and they spend it and they pay it off. He's like, show me those bank statements. I'll go back to underwriting, and we'll get him approved. I did that. We took him back, approved, just like that. So he was like, yeah, they're looking at comparable spend. If you can show me any of your clients that actually spend a certain amount of money, I can then have that to go to my underwriter to help him get approved. All right, so that's another thing, guys, comparable spend. All right, very important. Okay, so now let's get into the next one. I want to talk to you guys about the power of 3, right? This is also very powerful. You want to have a minimum of 3 revolving accounts, especially on your personal side, right? At least 3. And then when I say revolving accounts, go back, talk about what we talked about in the first call. Revolving accounts meaning you want to have a credit card or you want to have a line of credit, right? So you want to have credit that you use. Once you pay, they give you that credit to use over and over again. That's revolving, right? That's one of the powerful 3s. The other one is you want to have 3 months bank statements. So before you're going out for lending, you need to prep. You need to make sure you're planning. Make sure that you do in 3 months in advance, you're running your bank statements. You're running your bank statements so that at the end of the month, it's showing that you have money in the bank. So I would say if you have something to pay, make sure you wait till the first of the next month before you pay it. So if you have 10,000, 20,000 sitting in your account, or 3,000 or 4,000, even if it's small, make sure you don't pay that, and make sure that you keep your balance or your the money that you have, your available amount of money that you have in there before it flips over to the next month, right? So if you have cash in your bank, all I'm trying to say is make sure that you're showing that you have the maximum amount of cash available before when the bank statement closes, right? So then if you have to pay it on the next month. But when that billing cycle shows and you show your bank statements, it's going to show that when it closed, you had your 5,000, your 10,000, your 20,000 in the bank, right? So that's also very important. So make sure you're planning 3 months out with your bank statements. This is also goes for people who are trying to do real estate, get yourself a home. If you're trying to get your home, they're going to want to see 3 months bank statements. So season your accounts, make sure your account looks good for 3 months, because that's all they're going to ask for, right? So that's also very important. And then 3 years in business. Now you can get funding with 1 year in business. You can get funding with 6 months in business. You can get funding with 1 month, 1 year in business. You can also get funding with 2 years in business. 2 years, they say, is usually the magical number, but 3 years, you look really solid, right? So if you can keep your business for 3 years, open for 3 years, and say you took a loss on the first year, you made a little bit of money on the second year, but on the third year, you can show that you had income, that's going to be really good. And that's what banks want to see. Okay. And then the other one is your credit line increases. Kind of went over that just a minute ago. We want to make sure that you're asking for a credit limit increase every 3 months, right? Especially if it's a soft pull. Now, if it's a hard pull, then you're going to want to wait, but you're going to want to be focusing on triggering yourself to get a credit limit increase. All right. So I'll skip through that side.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, run.
So on the last slide, when you say bank balance, bank statement, is there any particular amount you're thinking of?
Yeah, absolutely. So the higher the amount, the better. But when we're trying to get some of these business funding products that we're getting ready to get into in third quarter, they want you to have at least a minimum of $10,000 in your account, right? And there's different strategies that we can use to do that. And we kind of went through this on the other call, but if you can get yourself a ghost loan, and we're going to go through some of these products. Actually, matter of fact, I'm going to wait till a couple slides from now, and I'm going to share with you guys how you guys can show these bank statements to maximize that in just a minute. Thank you. Good question. All right, so we're going into third quarter, guys. Third quarter of the game, we went through halftime. This is when your business is 12 to 24 months old at this particular time. So now we're going to start talking about getting yourself ready for getting some of these business loans, getting yourself some business lines of credit, and getting yourself 0% business credit cards, right? So if you have a business that's 12 to 24 months, you have now primed your business so that you can start qualifying for some of this funding. So how much can you get? How much can you qualify for, right? That is the one question that everybody has. Well, banks are typically looking at 10 to 20% of your gross annual sales. So that means if you have annual sales of $500,000 and that 10% of that is going to be about $50,000 loan, right? So when you're filling out your applications, I just want you to know that this is one of the things that they're looking to see how much they should grant you. So keep this in mind. Now, usually it won't trigger a bunch of documents if you put under $1 million. So if you put 500,000, it's not going to trigger them to be asking for a ton of documents, right? So just so you know, but if you do have all your documents in your season and you can show that like we have a client right now that we're dealing with, he has 4 million in annual sales. But later on, I'm going to show you one of the things that he did wrong on his taxes. But right now he has over 4 million that he's showing in annual sales. So he can qualify for a $400,000 loan or a $100,000 loan and so forth, right? So the next thing I want to talk to you about is some ghost products. And when we say ghost products, we're talking about products that do not report on your personal credit or your business credit. That's the importance of a ghost product, right? And some of these banks they don't do that. So that's why we want to kind of talk to you guys about these. One of the ones that we love a lot is BHG, that's Bankers Healthcare Group. Bankers Healthcare Group gives out a bag, you guys. They give out a ton of money. But I will let you know that they are a bank that loves to see W-2s and they love to see taxes. So if you can justify that you have money coming in, a minimum of $100,000 a year, or for somebody like yourself, Jackie, who's in the medical field, I'm not even sure. Have you ever applied? I don't want to put your business out there, but I don't know. If you've ever applied for BHG, let me know. But myself, I applied for BHG when I first started, and I was able to get 50,000. And then later on, what's really great about them is you can go back and refinance, and they were able to give me 90,000 later on. So they're a great bank, but they do have high, I will say they have high interest, so you're gonna have to be really careful with them. I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that in just a minute. But Blue Ridge Bank is another one you guys should look into. Blue Ridge Bank now took over the underwriting for BHG. So this is also a good one to look into, and I'll talk to you guys about them. And then, of course, once again, we have Navy Federal's Go Biz credit card, which we like as a Ghost product as well. So with Navy Federal's Go Biz card, this one's really good because once again, it does not report on your personal credit or your business credit, right? And it's an easy liquidation credit card that you can get. One of the easiest ways that you can liquidate this particular credit card from credit into cash is you can actually go to Navy Federal and request to get their Go Pay card or their debit card. They have a prepaid debit card that you can get, and you can actually load money from your credit card onto the debit card, and it will not trigger a cash advance or anything like that at all. So, and then you can go and you can use that debit card to make payments or to take cash out however you want. And usually they're really good with giving high limits of $25,000 to $50,000 for business owners. So we love this card for that. And then
Wow, that's incredible.
yeah, and then also it's really good for hiding your utilization, right? So you want to hide your utilization if you have a personal Navy Federal card that you have, like for instance, something happened and you have to carry a balance, you can't pay it off in full. Well, actually, you can actually use your business card instead, and you can then take that money to hide the utilization so that it's not hitting you. All right. So what I like about the Blue Ridge card is that it is a 0% card for 12 months. Also, no annual fee. And this is really great that they'll give you $300 after you spend $3,000. So I'm going to share with you guys this play that I like in just a minute about seasoning your bank account. But just remember that some of these banks will give you guys money for spending a certain amount of money within a certain time frame, and that's 90 days. There are people who actually do something called churning, where they go out and get all these different cards and they try to hit these bonuses so that they can just get money from them. So you can literally make thousands of dollars a month by getting these cards. You have to be very strategically aligned when you do this, but just know that there are banks that are giving you lots of money just from opening your accounts and spending, right? So then I was talking to you guys about BHG. One of the things I love about BHG is that it's a soft pull. So you can actually apply for their banking products and not get hit with a hard inquiry. And they're typically giving out $50,000 on their loans. And you can, like I mentioned to you guys before, you can finance this. Now, one of the things I love to do with these Ghost products is when we're trying to go for some of these loans, what you want to do is you want to take the product, the loan amount or the credit card, liquidate it into cash. So let's say you have $50,000 that you got from BHG, and then off the other two credit cards, you got $25,000. So then you have another $50,000. Well, that's when we go and we try to season these bank accounts from these large institutions. So now that you have that cash, what you're going to do is you're going to make a hefty deposit. Like at Bank of America, I say you want to make sure you put down at least a minimum of $25,000 when you're opening that account. Open that account, they're going to put you in a high tier value of their clients. And then what you're going to start doing is you're going to start doing your spend through that bank, making sure you have at least 5 spends on your bank account, at least 5. Right. And then what you're going to do is if money is slow that month or money is slow right now, and that's the season you're in, you're going to take some of the money from your Ghost product and you're going to make a deposit there as well, because at the end of the month, I want to show that you're incrementally going up with your bank statements. So let's say that you had that when we were talking about the 3-month cycle, right? We're talking about the 3-month cycle. You're going to be spending like you spend constantly, but then you're going to be making these deposits. And then at the end of the month, you're going to show that every single month it went up. So you went up 10,000. The next month you went up another 10,000. You have 20,000. The next month you went up another 30. So another. So then when the bank sees that and you turn in your bank statements, they see that your accounts are going up. Now they're going to be more favorable to granting you a larger line, because you've been able to show your bank statements. So you're going to be spending and spending and spending like you normally would, but put little chunks of change inside of that account to make sure it's constantly going up. That's a play for you guys, if you didn't know. How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me all right? I know I'm going pretty fast and I'm talking a lot. Just let me know if you're with me.
Yep, we're with you.
Yep.
All right, all right. You guys getting what I'm putting down?
Yep.
Right, right. Cool, cool. James, you there? You hear me? Because we're going to be talking about this in depth. All right, cool, cool. All right, so let's get into it. One of these banks that
Okay, hear you, buddy.
okay.
Good information.
All right, cool, cool. One of these banks that we love is the Chase, and Chase will give you up to $250,000 in their loans. This is why we always want to make sure we take care and we season this particular bank. They do have a total exposure for their loan, for all their products, right? So you can't go over 250,000. That means that's amongst all their different all the different companies you might have with them, but the total is going to be 250,000. And I shared with you guys earlier how you can hit that. And basically it's a matter of your spend amount and then having your bank statements together. And every now and then they're going to ask you for taxes, right? And that becomes a whole nother story. But in the 12 to 24 month period, I want you to be trying to season those accounts and make sure your bank statements look good and make sure your taxes look good. Now, a lot of business owners are always trying to write off taxes so they don't have to pay money at the end of the month. And that's not really the play. The play is when you have real estate. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit later, guys, about how you can utilize real estate to be your tax write-off play, but still showing that you have income in your business, right? So that is going to be something we'll talk about down the line. US Bank is my other one that is you can get a quick, easy express loan right now. We're getting people these express loans all day with US Bank. They will pull your business Equifax and also look at your Duns and Bradstreet. So it's going to be important that you're building out your profile correctly, like we were talking about in the previous call, making sure that you have all your compliance items together. And then they're going to be looking at that stuff. But once you have that in line, as long as everything matches, you can get a quick 50,000 really easy from US Bank, right? And then the other one we like is Wells Fargo. You can get a business line of credit, 50,000, no UCC filing on this one, on this product. And you also want to make sure this is when your business is almost 24 months, at least 24 months in business, 2 years in business. You can start qualifying for this $50,000 BLOC from them. And then once again, season your bank accounts, making sure, once again, this goes to your question, Oma, 10,000 in deposits every single month. And then you should be good to qualify for this one. And this is for people who live in Washington. WeCoo Bank is another good one. They're giving out a great 25,000 on their credit card and 50,000 for their business loan. And this is on one single pull from the credit, from your credit. And the only thing with this particular bank is you have to have some kind of, they're geo restricted, so you have to have some kind of footprint in the state of Washington. But for minority owned businesses, they are giving out a bag really easy. You only have to have your business for 12 months. 12 months with your business, they're going to give you a business loan and they're going to give you a $25,000 credit card with this particular business, with this particular bank. So we kind of went over about $450,000 in total funding for third quarter. Now I'm just going to briefly go over fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is for the elite status. This is where we take it home. So now that you guys have your tax returns, you're going to make sure you have your tax returns. You're going to make sure you plan ahead. You're going to make sure that your numbers make sense. There's so many times that I'm running people for business funding, and I was doing this, and I still do this sometimes when I'm just trying to get people through. But the numbers don't make sense. The math isn't mathing. So we have to make sure that your math is mathing. And I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about what that looks like in just a minute. So your numbers need to match up. You need to start showing profits. After 2 years, you're going to want to start showing profits, right? So for instance, this is what your tax return, this is what they're looking at, right? They're going to look at your gross receipts on your 1120. All right, so this is the form for when you're filing your business taxes. So they're looking here and it says you have 260,000 gross receipts, right? But then you're showing all these write-offs right here, all these write-offs, excuse me, sorry, my screen did that. See if I can get that off of there. Let me go back. You're showing all these write-offs, but then down here, see it'll go away in just a minute. On line 28, they're looking at your taxable income. So you got 260,000 coming in, but then you're only showing your taxable income at 16,000, right? So how are they going to want to grant you $150,000, $250,000? Because the one question they're going to be wanting to know is how are you going to pay us back, right? How are we going to get this money back from you? And if you're only showing that your taxable income is 16,000, then it's not making sense. Like when you're very first starting out, first in quarter one and quarter two, that's okay when we're just getting some business credit cards and some very small loans. But when we're getting ready to start talking about getting some real money, these numbers need to start mathing. We've got to start showing some income. And so it's okay to show your income, but I highly recommend you guys start finding the write-offs in real estate so that you can actually keep that taxable income higher, right? And we'll start talking about that a little deeper about tax savings. And I also have some people that are going to come on and help you guys out with understanding that a little bit as well. All right, so now let's talk about some SBA funding. This is for the big boys. This is where it gets good. This is where you can get some real money. And this is what we're seasoning a lot of people for in the long run. We want you to have a nice, well-established business, and you want to get some of this SBA money, right? This SBA money funding is from 7A loans. They have 504 loans, and then they have some of even the express loans and the micro loans. And then, of course, you guys know about the disaster loans from like COVID and Katrina and all those other different types of disasters that we've had in the States. If your business is structured out right, you want to make sure you're in a position for if that does happen, you can capitalize on that, right? Okay, so working capital is what the 7A loan is all about, right? They want, if you're looking for working capital to scale and grow your business, this is the type of SBA loan you're going to want. It's also really good for equipment buying, for equipment financing, and so forth. These loans go up to $5 million, and they have term limits of 10 years for working capital, and you can also get them for real estate for 25 years. So James, for yourself, when you're looking to get your nonprofit, right, we want to make sure that we can get your business built out right so that you can buy the property using an SBA 7A loan, and then your business for your nonprofit can then go in and house those people inside of that business, right? So we want to make sure we structure your business completely tight so that you can start qualifying for this kind of money when we fill out your applications. And I'm going to show you which we go to for that. What's up?
No, I was just saying, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And so for the 504 loan, we have the 504 loan that is for real estate as well and for equipment financing. And this goes up to 5.5 million. And they have terms of 10, 20, and 25 years for the 504 loan. This is also a really good one. And then we have the SBA Express loan. This is what a lot of people are after right now. And this is really good for fast approvals and small amounts. This is where having your bank statements really come in line, because you can actually have your business for 2 years. As long as you can show your bank spend is good and your credit is good, you can get a quick 50,000 from this SBA Express loan. Banks love this SBA Express loan because 50% of this money is backed by the government. So they're not taking as much of a risk if you default on this money. So that's why they love giving this money out. You just got to be structured out correctly. And if you have 3 months bank statements and you've been in business for a couple years, you can qualify for this with good credit, right? And then there's the SBA microloan. This one goes up to 50,000 as well, and it's best for small and startups. So if you're just starting up and you don't have 2 years in business, you can qualify for this microloan. And I say, as long as you can keep those bank statements healthy, you can keep those. They're not going to look at your taxes from years out. They're just going to look at your bank statements, and they're going to make sure that you have good credit. And if you have that, you can get this micro loan today. And I'm going to share with you guys some banks, the bank that I love to go to for this. And then I mentioned to you guys about the SBA disaster loan. A lot of people take advantage of this, and it goes up to 2 million, and you can get the term for 30 years. Why we like these SBA loans is also because the interest rates are very affordable, right? They give you really good affordable interest rates and for a longer term, so your payments aren't so hefty having to pay it back. And then the best banks, the best lenders that I like for these SBA lenders is going to be a bank called Live Oak Bank, Wells Fargo, and then Huntington National Bank. And then I left my favorite for last, and that's going to be Celtic Bank. And I'll talk to you guys about that in just a moment. All right, how are we doing with time, Homa? We doing okay? Oh, that's great. You're muted. I'm going really fast. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure you guys are all getting what I'm putting down. Everybody good?
We're on time. We're doing good.
All right, all right. So Live Oak Bank. Live Oak Bank is really good for those real estate loans. They offer the 7(a) and the 504 loans that go up to $5 million. This is a really good bank once you guys are ready to get some real estate, whether you're trying to get commercial real estate, whether you're trying to get fourplexes, duplexes, and all that kind of stuff. This is going to be the bank you want to go to. This is one of my favorites, Live Oak Bank. Their lending is really good for businesses that are like 2 to 3 years old, right? So if you can have your business for 2 to 3 years old, I always say you need to make sure you have yourself a holding company, because the holding company, they love to give money to holding companies, right? So if you have any kind of real estate going on, great. Make sure you have a holding company. Make sure all your money is flowing from your holding company out. If you don't have a holding company right now, I highly recommend you start getting one set up and just having it seasoned for the time when you start having some money coming in, so that you can maximize on that, right? The other one we like is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is really good. They can be really strict, but Wells Fargo is one of those banks that you need to build that relationship with. The longer you can build a relationship with Wells Fargo and they see that you're good with them, they're going to start really helping you with these 7(a) loans and these 504 loans. And even some of their small business loans are really good. I've gotten small business loans from Wells Fargo, and they've been really, really good. But I've been banking with them for a number of years. As a matter of fact, speaking of which, I can't talk about Wells Fargo without talking about Homa. That's actually how I met Mrs. Homa here. Met Homa. She was my business relationship manager at Wells Fargo when we first met about 10 years ago. A little over 10 years ago now. I walked into the bank as a small business owner. That was my first business I had ever started. Didn't know much about it. Didn't know much about business credit. I was just learning. And I sat down with Homa, and I was denied. She denied me. She denied me for my loans. She denied me for my credit cards. My credit was shot. But I was told and sold that if I had business credit, guys, I could go in and I could get business funding. So that was my goal. I was trying to build out my business credit, and I sat down with Homa, and she denied me. And so I was asking Miss Homa, I was like, Homa, what do I got to do to try to build up my business credit so that I could get some of this funding? And, Homa, what was your answer to me? I'll let you tell it. Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. And so when we started this business, I started learning about business credit, and we started learning more deeper about financial literacy. And she was always really big in learning and teaching me about financial literacy. And so once we understood this information, it was like a veil was lifted, and it was like, wow, that is the answer. This is how you can get access to large amounts of money from the banks. Once we started learning that, once I started learning that myself, that's when we were able to go into the banks and start getting hundreds and thousands of dollars. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, I pretty much I work all my life in the banking industry and financial institute in different levels, and teaching it as well. But at the end of it, I had no idea there was such thing as business credit. I literally didn't. I thought the minute you open up your corporation, you go to a bank, and corporation is a big deal. They're supposed to give you that money. But, this last experience that I had as a business relationship manager, the amount of people we denied business credit was ridiculous. So when Dishawn came out asking about it, hey, why did you deny me? I have excellent credit scores. And I was like, I don't know. I literally, and the banks won't give you that information. And that became a mission that, you know what, let's research this then.
Yeah.
And you know, but
Thinking
with
was
these
hard.
teaching, with these teaching tonight, it's literally, it's like, if I would have known this back in the days, this would have been pure gold, right?
Absolutely. But that's all right. We know it now. Now we're grinding. Now we're
Right.
right. All right. So then the other bank that I like is Huntington National Bank. This bank is really good for their express loans, their fast approvals, and they go up to $500,000, right? And this bank, I got introduced to this bank from one of my clients that we worked with a couple years ago, and he was asking me about Huntington National Bank, and I didn't know anything about Huntington National Bank. And then so we started working with this bank, and he started building the relationship out with Huntington National Bank. And then over the course of time, as his credit went up, he started getting approved for a lot of their different products. And one of the products he was able to get was the express loan from them. So they have a great express loan product. You get 5 fast approvals from them. And then my favorite, I left my favorite here, and this is the Celtic Bank, you guys. If you're a startup business and you have a startup business and you want a bank that's very great with startup friendly capital, highly recommend you guys get Celtic Bank. Get yourself a relationship with Celtic Bank. They do really great express loans for startups, and they have their loans go up to $5 million. Right. All right. So that's fourth quarter funding. We talked about how you can get 500,000 to $5 million. And then once you've done that, it's game over. You've won and jump shot Kobe from the baseline. All right. That's all I have for you guys tonight. All right. You guys good? Anybody questions? Anything there? I know I talked really fast tonight. I was going really fast, like all gear. All right. Trenton, did you get all that? Get what I was putting down?
Great information. I'll definitely be reviewing as I progress in my own financial literacy. So something to come back to for myself.
Yep, pretty soon you're going to be teaching this, bud.
That would be awesome.
That's right. All right. Mr. Soliman, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Did you get all that?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I got everything.
Good. Any questions you guys have?
Yes, Jackie has a question, and then after Jackie, Ms. Doris has a question.
Oh, we have the hands raised. Wow.
Yes, you didn't see.
I'm trying to follow the protocol, raise my hand, you know, not speak up, and you just ignore me like, okay,
Oh.
thank you, Homa.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. It's not formal. It's not going to be a lot of people trying to talk in like Rad's group.
No, but you know what? I like when the hands is raised. I've actually been in other groups, and when everybody starts speaking, it gets kind of crazy. So I like it. So it was very interesting on everything you talked about, and I really like the SBA loans. So as I've heard, it's that when you do apply for any of these SBA loans, you do have to provide a lot of documentation. And for me, that I have an SBA loan, the EDL or the IDL, the one that I got with COVID.
Oh, yes, yes.
Excuse me. Once you have that loan, is it possible to get another one or no?
Yeah, yeah. So once you have one already out, it's really difficult to get another one. Yeah, I haven't heard about people getting a second SBA loan unless it's in a whole different category. So you got the disaster loan, right?
Right.
If you were to go and you were to get a real estate loan, you could qualify for a real estate loan.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you.
So Dishawn, you're saying that if she
Wait,
gets,
your hand's not raised. Hold on. Jackie said you
I
have to.
had it like this.
All right.
So you're saying that the SBA loan that Jackie has, she had a disaster loan, therefore she cannot get another disaster loan?
Yeah.
Or
Until
any
that
SBA?
one's paid off. She can after that one's paid off.
Oh, gotcha. So that goes to any kind of
If you-
SBA loan.
You're not going to get 2 SBA loans back to back in the same category.
Oh, same category, gotcha. So you can have a different category and you can get it. Got it. I'm just asking these questions for our beloved participants. So Miss Doris has her hand raised, Dee.
Oh, it's late for Miss Doris, so let's make sure we get her.
Actually, I was trying to do a clap, so it wasn't really a hand raise, it was a clap, but I'm not totally computer literate, so it looked like, but I was trying to do a clap and say thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
My fault, my fault. My emojis are completely messed up, Miss Doris, just so you know.
No worries.
And now, Mr. James has a question.
What's up, brother James?
Hey, what's going on, brother D? Hey, man, I have a question for you. You had said earlier you were going to share some information that D had raised, or Oma had raised a question in regards to, I think, of how to show bank receipts or stuff like that, and you didn't really go into that.
Okay.
I think it was like bank statements or something like that.
Yeah.
You had.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of what I was going over when I was saying you want to season your bank account, right? So let me get into it. So basically, with the Ghost Loan product, right? You have Navy now. So you're going to be able to do this. So we will take money from, if you have money sitting around, right? When you're using your money for your business and you're doing all your organic spend on that, right? Then what I want you to do is we're going to dump money into your business account, right? To show progression for 3 months of you constantly making money. Let's say you're not making any money. If you're already making money, you don't need this strategy. But I'm trying to get you to dump as much money into that business bank account to show the statements to be as huge as possible. So if you use the Ghost products, they're not going to see where that money came from. And then you can go back and pay that off later on. But it's going to be a 3-month cycle, right? So you're going to do this for 3 months, pay it off, do this for 3 months, pay it off. And if you use the 0% credit card ones, then you're only getting charged the 0%. There will be a little bit of a fee for doing this, but at the end of the day, you're going to get a large loan, or you're going to get a large line of credit because you ran this play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, is basically using the Ghost money to season your bank statement accounts.
And when you say ghost money, you're talking about the credit cards, right?
No, you can even use the loans. So there are the Ghost loans that I was talking about. One of the products is from BHG. So for yourself being in the healthcare industry, Ms. Doris, it'd be very easy with your good credit to get a BHG loan, right?
Okay.
So one of the plays we're going to run with you is we're going to get like this BHG loan. Say, for instance, when you're trying to get your first real estate deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we can do is we'll get a BHG loan and we will have that money seasoned in your account for 3 months. So they won't know where that money came from, right?
Okay.
So the bank's only going to ask for 3 months bank statements, right? So if we plan ahead and we put $50,000 into your bank account and your bank statements, and every month it's showing that 50,000 plus whatever else you put in. Now, when the banks go to qualify you for your real estate, you're going to have the down payment and some to help you qualify for whatever mortgage you're trying to get.
Okay.
Or whatever loan you're trying to get from the bank. And then once you get that loan, then you go and you pay off the BHG and you don't have that anymore. And you have a more favorable loan and with a higher loan with a favorable bank.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. What's up, Miss Need? You still there? I know you're a business owner.
Yeah, I'm still here. I
Right.
took notes. Thank you. It's a lot of information.
Right on. Cool. Miss
And then just quickly, Miss Enid, I'm not sure if you were on our last workshop or not, or webinar. Dee, if you go to the first slide, the slide that we have the YouTube information. So we posted video 1, part 1 and 2 on Dee's YouTube. So
Okay.
please take a look at it, and this will also be posted on there as well.
All right.
So
Thank you.
it's right here. And not only this videos, he has tons of valuable information on his YouTube channel. And also Miss Amanda has a great channel, and so does Miss Jackie. Please follow them. I'm doing the publicity for you.
I did have a question about the SBA loans.
Yes.
So I know that you said that the only way that she would be able to get an SBA loan is if that particular loan is completely paid, right? But if she pays it, can she still obtain another SBA loan?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as she was in good standing with it.
Okay, got it.
You want to make sure you're in good standing, because they're going to be looking at all that when they try to get you approved for another one.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. That concludes the business funding masterclass series that we have. Next class we're going to be having one of our bankers come on and talk about some of their products, and then also how to get qualified and understanding more about the tax documents, more about SBA lending, and just going really heavy. I just did a little overview tonight, but we're going to have him come on and he's going to go real deep, and we're going to have a conversation. And I think you guys wouldn't want to miss this one as well. Thank you for the Afghan American Business Alliance for allowing us your time tonight. And if no one has any other further questions, we will go ahead on and sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you for the valuable information, and it was really good, Dee.
Thank you. Yeah, Amanda.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Dishawn. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dishawn.
Right. Peace.